Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I was hoping to demonstrate a trade here, but it didn't. We didn't get a good enough signal bar. I wasn't happy with that signal bar, but we got a higher low here. Notice that uh, I talked about this in the mid-morning report that this would probably fail, even if only momentarily, and of course it did. And we're back in the range now, and we had this trend working down. Notice we had a close outside and a couple of legs down. Then we made a higher low here, but that signal bar just wasn't good enough. But we might get another type set, something else here set up. A chance to go long or short here. Um, Prices could still go either way right here, so it'd have to be a pretty good setup that clarifies which way prices are going next. So, but you can see we were working down, had the close outside and a couple of legs to a new low, and then we had this higher low right here. But again, that signal bar just doesn't quite, let me zoom in there a little bit. That signal bar doesn't quite qualify. And trade would have worked, but I didn't take it because it doesn't meet our entry criteria. So we'll sit here and we'll wait on something else and see if we get another opportunity. Let's see if we possibly um, I don't know if this is going to be it's possible there could be a trend setting up here going higher, but it might have been more shorter term one here, like so. But even on that one, we don't have a, oops. Sometimes those things are so, get so tight you can't ever get them back again. So we'll just start new here. So maybe more like that, and we may make a new high and turn back down. We may not even make a new high. I mean, the odds are we may still be headed to the lower side of the range here. And it could be that the lows are really down here now. But until we get more evidence of that, you can still see where when we broke lower below the overnight lows, we came back and tested that. We tested it from both sides. So as of now, I'm going to leave it like that. And we'll see if we get some kind of, we may need to adjust it later, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. But anyway, there's not much else I can say about this, but I'm going to pause it and we'll let the price action play out. And if something comes back and setting up, I'll come back on and we'll restart the video. But I'll pause it for now and we'll see if something sets up. Okay, prices have turned back down here. There was a second entry short here, but it's not a very good setup. But prices could bounce here. We could get a triple test and go higher again. We'll see if that sets up. I was going to show you this. We're working up. You get a first entry, and then you get that little two-bar matching high. So that's prices didn't go lower, and when they broke below there, you could technically that's a form of a second entry, but you definitely got a higher low here. Again, you didn't get a higher high, but you still get a higher low, so you could count that as a second entry. Again, this double bar matching low is technically where the second entry occurred, but it doesn't set up very well. But I'm going to pause this and we'll see if we get a setup. Okay, we did push lower and pull back here, but I don't see any setup that I don't think you're going to count that as a triple test. So you do have a first entry here. If we were to leave this two-bar matching high and then try to push lower and maybe, especially if you could get like a tick lower and then it turned up and go past there, that would be a second entry long. But right now we just have a first entry. Something like that coming down there. It looks like this was not accurate. So let's see what we get here. Still nothing very interesting, really. Nothing I'm But it can change quickly, so we may suddenly get a setup here. But I'll just pause it and we'll wait and we'll see. And that's the key to it. You got to be patient. And you got to wait on the setup, and you got to have a good one, and you got to follow the rules. And as of now, I see nothing that looks worth taking at this point. So we'll sit tight. Okay, I've kind of reevaluated this here. Even though you got a trend down here, this is more sideways stuff. You can see the congestion there, and we did get the breakout, and it did take off. No setup here. Um, Technically, there's a second entry long right there. Notice you're working down, and then first entry. And if this would have broke lower and then given you a second entry, maybe, but that looks a little sideways, so I wasn't crazy about it. We'll see if we get some kind of setup here. We're definitely trending higher again now. It looks like for a little bit we were just kind of testing both sides of the middle of this original range. So we might even get a second entry long here. We'll see. We could just make a new high and this will play out and we may come back here again. So, but I'll pause it and we'll wait till something sets up. I don't see anything here I'm willing to trade yet, so we'll just we'll pause it and we'll come back and look at it. But I did want to show you where I just kind of reevaluated how this was playing down here. This looks like more sideways stuff. And here we go. We could get a second entry long here. But I'll pause it, and if it sets up, we'll come back and we'll see if we can play it. Okay, we did have a second entry here. I missed it. I'm going to put a limit on it, and I got filled after all. So you saw I missed that, but I put my limit order in there. It's a second entry long. When it triggered above that, notice the new high, first entry, second. It's basically two legs back to the EMA. We're looking for prices to retest this high. A lot of second chances to get in this one if you wanted to get in it.
Target filled.
Okay, now we're out.
Stop filled.
Well, no runner there. I have my stop set to move to break even +1. So, but anyway, that was a quick 750 bucks minus commissions, and so there's you another live trade. And all we did was take a second entry long. And you'll see here, this thing could take off and play out, and so there's different ways that you can manage your runner. I might should have given that one a little more room, but I didn't because I'm just trying to demonstrate you the most conservative way to do this to make sure you don't lose money and that you're going to make money. And so I went in with 20 contracts, scalped out on 15 of them, and I had 5 as a runner, and I got 5 ticks on the 5 runners because I got out at break even +1. So that's what you're looking at. Again, it's about 750 bucks minus a little more than that actually. I think it because I got the 5 ticks, 50 something dollars. So basically that just pays for the commission on those 5 plus a couple of dollars a piece for them. It's not much money, but you still make money on those 5. You don't lose any money by doing break even +1. And what that does, that allows you to, if one just takes off, that allows you to catch the really big runner. And if it doesn't take off and it chops around like this and there's a chance you might get stopped out, it keeps you from losing money. So you can see here that, there's a chance that this looks like it wants to turn down. I think it was probably still going higher, but they're definitely trying to run the stops on it. Maybe just sideways stuff. We could just be, here's the other thing. I didn't show the measured move, and you can see we're right at the measured move. So that would have been a logical, actually this probably needs to be moved down here just a little to these lows like so. I think that's more realistic, and now look at it how it matches up there. So that was another reason you probably want to consider break even +1 there. But we may still go higher here yet. But anyway, there's another quick trade. You saw how I just had to be patient and wait on the setup. I finally got one right here. It's a second entry. Here's the new high. We're trending up here. This was the first close outside, and we got two legs. This is a perfect second entry setup. We got two legs back to the EMA. We also tested this breakout area, so a break above that was a second entry, and that's all. That's what I'm trading. I was expecting prices to come back and try to make a retest of that high. We ended up making a lower high right there, but that's what led to the second entry. I think we will test this again. If we don't get through, prices may turn back down. If they do get through this time, we're probably looking at going back, testing this area up here. I noticed when we shot through here, we never came back and tested that. So that's a likely place for prices to come back and try to test that. But anyway, there's another quick and easy. You saw how long I was in. That one was longer than usual. I was probably in that 30 seconds maybe. Uh, but you got to be patient. You got to follow the rules. You saw that I followed the rules. There were a couple other trades here that set up that were tempting, but this was really tempting here, but it doesn't follow the rules. I possibly could have entered there, but because it's an inside bar, they're not reliable, and I usually tell people to avoid them, so I didn't enter there. It would have worked. That would have been the better trade, actually. But that one gapped over too, so you may not have got a chance to enter that one. This one you saw was late because by the time I could get the recorder going, it already ticked past. But you saw me drop a limit order in there and how quickly, and now look, we're pushing through here. And you saw how quickly that worked out for me. So notice you got a two-legged measured move there, so we might get another measured leg up here. And that gives you a target somewhere back up here near the highs. We'll see what happens, but notice where we push through that measured move there. Prices should pull back and test that. If it holds it, then it'll probably go higher, and if it doesn't, it may come back into the range. That's what we expect on range rules. When I talked about in our mid-morning chart this morning that prices broke out here, you'd have to see a sustain. They'd probably fail even if only momentarily, and of course they failed and came right back in the range. It took a minute for that momentum to kind of play out, but it did, and they never could really take it any higher than this price level right here. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed another live trade example. I'm trying to do more of these when I have time. Today was kind of quiet this morning, so I had a few minutes, and I thought I would demonstrate that trade for you. But I'm going to wrap it up. It's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. We'll see you next time.